Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Ooh. Thank you. Ooh. Thank you so much. Hey, you can stop now. Come on. Stop! Do you know about the food pyramid? It was this nutritional chart that was shown to kids from grades K to 12 and was meant to teach them about different food groups and just beneficial nutrition in general. Around the past 10 years or so, they found that it wasn't as helpful as they tried to make it out to be. There are certain aspects of nutrition that maybe weren't fully categorized and were maybe jumbled together with, say, the wheat or the grain or... What is that? What is that thing? So as such, and I think I was still in high school around this time, was when they changed it to this sort of food plate. I don't actually know this. I should actually look it up. Yes, the healthy eating plate. Instead of categorizing it into different food groups, they have now separated into general vegetables, proteins, whole grains, fruits, healthy oils, and water. But that's not fun, is it? This is becoming like that new art movement around the world, where all our architecture and our art are all being coded under this aspect of minimalism, when possibly it was some way for architects or designers to cut costs on colors of paint or design, and as such, they decided to push it as the new in thing, when really it is a consequence of, capitalism? What I'm trying to get at here is that the new food plate is boring. There's no color, except for red, white, green, blue, and purple, and orange, and yellow, and white. Am I missing one? And violet. And yellow. What happened to the beautiful food pyramid? The representation of an echelon of humanity. How could you get rid of a design so popular that it has been around for the past thousands of years, living on within the Great Pyramids of ancient Egypt and the Bass Pro Shop Pyramid in, I don't know. How can you take away from its majestical beauty? So what exactly can be done to fix all this? Ha 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 ha. We are going to reinvent the food pyramid. They will not take away our misinformation and outdated nutritional facts in exchange for a more accurate representation and lack of color. We will compensate, remodifying this pyramid and introducing essential items that have been present throughout human society within the past 50 years. This is going to get me reprimanded. I'm a public health major. Let's go. Alright, first thing we're going to look at are vegan options. Due to ethical concerns surrounding how meat is processed, of course, it would be understandable why certain people are turned away from eating meat. And also just some cultures, they usually won't allow you to eat certain meats. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think in India, they don't eat beef, I believe? I don't remember. With vegan options, they are, of course, plant-based, and its flavoring profile is very similar to what is usually expected within its meat counterparts. With vegan options, you can expect yourself to, I don't know. Now, obviously, this is going to fall within the vegetable category, but it's going to fall within that weird middle ground, so we're just going to stretch that and put that over there. It's a great alternative, especially to, as I said before, due to cultural or ethical reasons, and also because some people are allergic to it. That allergy can come from genetics, or it can come from that one tick that when it bites you, it makes you allergic to meat, which means that the vegans are already on the attack. I already fumigated my house with CO2, and I covered up the insulation of my walls with a flammable asbestos. It's gonna be like Death Note in that if somebody tries to grab for me, I'm gonna die before I live a life in which I'm allergic to meat. You ever hear or read about news articles which discuss and how they are the future, so that you can grow meat without having to unalive an animal? That's another option too. In terms of its placement on the food pyramid, that's obviously gonna go within the meat category and possibly the dessert category, because You might have some milk in there. This could do great things. This can mean that there's no longer a need to commercialize or create an influx of different animals. You can let them roam free. You can have them in like the UK, when there's like an abundance of sheep that try to cross the road so they cause traffic. What other things can roam free now that there's lab-grown meat? Meese! Meese can grow in places. Meese can roam in abundance within Northwest America. Next time you're going 80 miles per hour down a empty road and then a pack of meese just ram at you, yeah, you can blame the lab industry. Because lab-grown options are starting to be pushed within the food nutritional marketplace, that leaves us time, for example, now that cows are free to grow and multiply in abundance, we can go back to cow tipping. We can go back to having them pushed in a domino chain and see how far they go. Will they fall into a neighboring parking lot? Or maybe because of our years of abuse, they will grow sentience, and as they multiply, it'll turn into a Animal Farm by George Orwell situation, in which Napoleon will be prophesized within 25 years and not only take over the Animal Farm, but integrate within human society to the point where they become unrecognizable and unable to be differentiated from human to animal, but they will always be pig. I don't know why I go in this direction. This is meat. It's still meat. Leather. Remember how I said that things can be grown ethically? Well, for now, a lot of leather comes from either bull or bison and cow, and when you get the raw hide by itself, there are a lot of stores or just, you know, jewelry bags where whatever leather can be used as, well, it is clothing. That's obvious. Used within apparel. But doesn't it look delicious? I went with one of my best friends, Jimmy, to a local leather shop, and I kept making him and everybody uncomfortable by insisting that I take a little, you know, yamping chomp out of the leather. Because, is it just me that thinks it looks delicious? It's like one of those inedible things that look really scrumptious, and then you're not allowed to touch it. Like flowing lava? Doesn't that look good? Or the smell of gasoline? Or cigarettes? I don't smoke cigarettes, I refuse to. But I do like the smell. Can you imagine if they sell it safely as a candle that can be sold commercially and you find it at like Target or Walmart right next to the Feastables? So then some poor kid who goes in to buy a pack of Feastables forever associates Mr. Beast with cigarette smoke. This is going in a really weird direction. I'm gonna stop right there. The thing about inedible things looking edible, that this is gonna set a precedent for the rest of the video. It really does look delicious. I know I'm not the only one who thinks this. But when they come in varieties of colors, you can imagine that they're just different flavors. Like, what if one of them was blue? What if that dark blue leather one that came from an alligator actually tastes like blueberry? Or what about that dark red one, which is made up of the blood vessels of bison, reminding you of Logan Paul's Red Prime? It's beautiful. Life is so beautiful. And leather is still so delicious. If you see me, and you bring me a piece of leather, chances are I'm going to chew on that thing. Or I'm just gonna ingest it. Or maybe I'll spit it out. I find it similar to like when people eat not toilet paper, that's gross, but paper towels or paper. I know it's paper and it degrades easily, but it's still so gross. It's so gross. Play-Doh, do you see where I'm going with this? Now this is what I'm talking about. This is what I mean. Play-Doh looks so delicious. Actually, I'm lying. I know that there are a bunch of kids that ate Play-Doh, and nowadays they have that bittering agent so that kids don't chew or ingest them. I was never one to chew on Play-Doh, but I would always play with it. But I did like the smell. Is that a weird thing? There's just something... And I know it's not nostalgia, because I tried it again, and I still like the smell of it. It doesn't remind me of any simpler time, because sure, I may be associated with when I played with it in kindergarten, But like even in high school, when I would pass by the Play-Doh aisle at Walmart, still like it. But given that most people have been prone to ingesting it as a kid, and some even as an adult, what's wrong with you? Burrito. I believe that it should fall somewhere within the wheat category, because it needs like dough. That's my reasoning. Yeah, cigarettes really are, aren't they? They do smell great, and there is chewing tobacco, but have you ever chewed a cigarette? It's one of those psychological things where you know whenever you look at something and you know exactly what it tastes and feels like in your mouth. That's sort of the same thing with cigarettes, where you can sort of chew it up like tobacco, and then just num num num. I don't understand why, because it is it's one of the most leading causes of deaths in the United States, but a lot of people do it, so why doesn't it go within the food pyramid? It should be placed right next to the dessert, or maybe in the fruits, because it's fruity, or maybe by the vegetables, because it's an essential diet for people. I know that the French maybe do it, and that to ease their hunger, I should say, they usually just smoke a cigarette after eating a fair portion, which means that it should be integrated into the food pyramid. Is it so hard to pull out a ciggy and just feel all of your energy go back and accumulate within your lungs? That is not tar, that is not black tar, that is not black tar, that is building up in your lungs, that is nutrition. No, you can't prove it. Nobody can prove that. Is this whole video just gonna be me gaslighting health professionals? 30 milligrams of depleted uranium. That is very calorie dense. Why don't you just, instead of, I don't know, bulking and getting full by having by carb loading so many different things and getting pieces of nutrition that may not be super beneficial to you, like artificial sugars within some along with your bulking, that just sits and accumulates within your stomach, and it's very difficult to be used as energy, and it just accumulates as fat. We know that with differing metabolisms, how difficult it is to get rid of. And for those with slow metabolisms, we know how difficult it is to lose said weight, and it's not something that can be done within over a month. Maybe? With depleted uranium, you can bulk in calories and then move on to your next exercise immediately after. You don't, even if you feel a little full, it's okay, it'll go away. If you feel like your body is slowly starting to deteriorate, then that means that you are burning a lot of calories. And if you feel like your teeth are falling out, they're not, then that must mean that you got the wrong uranium. It is super healthy for you. You don't have to listen to people. I shouldn't say that. I really should not say this. Amelia Earhart should fall within the nutritional category. One of the most famous pilots of all time had suddenly disappeared almost 100 years ago. This is more so not for humans, so to say, for the nutrition, but more so for the coconut crabs that had slowly eaten and digested her. She took inspiration from my video, the D20 Real Life Challenge, and while she was flying her plane, she rolled a nat 1, and then she crashed onto a remote island, and that's when all the coconut crabs found the wreckage and ate her. They ate all of Amelia Earhart. They ate all the little bits and pieces of her along with the airplane. It's like when you leave out a bowl of candy on Halloween and you tell them to only take one, and then they take more than one, and a bunch of hands go in and grab it, and then when you turn back and come back around, somebody has taken the bowl. That almost happened to me one time near my neighborhood. For those 3 kids, you know who you are. They're probably, I don't know where they are. They're probably out of college or whatever. I hope your life goes down. No, I shouldn't say that. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. We were kids. Why must only humans have a nutritional chart? Why can't the coconut crabs be integrated? Because they survive off of Amelia Earhart. They should also be put in here too. And Amelia Earhart should go within the fruit category, because coconut crabs. Oh, I didn't think about that. It's cool. I'm looking down my list, and my next one is lava. Lava? You see how it was all this big foreshadowing of just different things that look so delicious, but you can't taste them. Why can't I have a little bit of lava and just, you know... You've seen those videos of people collecting samples of lava by putting it within a little steel bucket and then scooping it in with one of those soup ladles and then scooping it out and going like... Chef's kiss, it probably tastes good. I think they had a little bit of a... for themselves. Like when Gordon Ramsay cut open the fish to get some caviar and was like, I want a little bit. And then lava should definitely go within the dessert category because it's definitely something that you save for last. In that it is your last meal. We should definitely just do a test of gathering different things and then eating them and seeing what works and what doesn't. They did that before, but you know, what I'm referring to specifically is stuff that looks delicious. Because I'm so tempted to try lava. It's like those TikTok videos where it showcases people playing with slime because it's one of those satisfying videos that runs on repeat in your For You page. I kind of want to do that. Get a lava magma resistant glove and then just plop down and then swim around in it. You know? But I bet that there will be kids who, if that sort of technology exists, will play around like this and then splash it onto their parents. And then old man Giorgio, who is just trying to get to work really close to the lava. He works at the Buc-ee's right from the crater. I'm so sorry, Giorgio. Burrito. Screw just separating and subdividing pieces of the burrito into different food groups. Just put it right there, plop in the middle. It is the one, the true, the only food that encompasses everything around it. Burrito. Need I explain anything else other than just put burrito there? Burrito. For those of you who have ever worked on a car, when I was little, my dad and I would often work on cars, and to coat engines and little aspects of the bottom interior of the car itself, we would use this red shell car grease so that it would lubricate and ensure that the gears and the mechanism of the car are working and running and that things don't stick or just break on itself, because those are new parts. And my dad would often keep little ones in different containers. They would often be in the little rolly tube or just in a little bucket. And I know that there are those that have the giant laundry detergent sized buckets. You ever just want to just take a handful and then just eat it a little bit? That seems like a dream. And hey, I know some of you have eaten it. I can smell it right now. Why can I smell it? I know some of you have eaten it and have gotten the texture on your mouths and are already craving for another one. Like those addiction itches you get where you're so tempted to get another little piece of the car engine gel and then just ingests pieces of it. Not pieces, just the whole thing. That is definitely a dessert category sort of food. It is definitely something that should be ingested, I think. I hope this doesn't influence the wrong people to actually ingest any of these. I don't know. Drydex Spackling. You've seen those little pink blobs that look like harder Play-Doh or softer astronaut ice cream. So you cover up a hole and then you paint over it. Doesn't that look good? It's just like room temperature ice cream, because you could just take a little fork and then take pieces of it and then just eat it like this. All of this are just things that look so edible but aren't. That goes in the vegetable category. No, that goes in the meat category. That goes in the meat category because there's this little essence of pink on it, which could be bone cartilage and bone marrow. But, you know... Ooh. I wasn't the one who pushed in Edward Haas into the machine on September 7th, 2022. That wasn't me. This video, I feel like this video is gonna go to the wrong people and revert them back to when toddlers would just eat anything. This is going to go so badly. We're gonna roll back around and then go back to real food, starting right now. I am referring to those cookie tins which would be found on your grandma's shelf whenever she would need to sew. And this is going on the dessert category again. Why is it doing that? because you might be thinking to yourself that it's because obviously it's cookies within the tin. It's obviously just, it's a no-brainer, right? However, I'm referring to the specific ones that are found within grandma's houses. I'm referring and reviewing to the cookie tin itself and the sewing needles inside. Doesn't it look so delicious? These weirdly pointed needles that look like little pieces of pretzels, just something to chew and bite on. Why can't kids just try that? Why can't they just shove a handful and then swallow them down? That is some disturbing imagery, I'm so sorry. If you break down and subdivide all the parts of what's inside the cookie tin, you have the makings of the PES stop-motion spaghetti right there. You have the threads, which can be used to make spaghetti. You have the needles, which can be used or are dried spaghetti, or they can be used as the cheese. You have the little thumbtack, which can be used as a little grater, or it can be broken down, and that's your little meatball. And then just dig in. And it's multicolored too. It's like Pretty Patties, except it's not edible. Well, Pretty Patties weren't edible to begin with, because they turned that one guy's face purple, and that one tongue glow in the dark. I feel like this video will make me liable, and if somebody does do any of these acts, I'm not liable for any of this, of what you are doing, because I am a responsible man. I am here to educate people with what I'm learning within public health, so that I can ensure the next generation not to make the same mistakes as the older ones. I'm trying to take aspects that were maybe left behind that still benefit us today, and then pushing it forward so that everybody else can learn from them. Because we've seen great things come and go. Sure, there are some things that could be left in the past, but that doesn't mean that everything has to. You can still bring back some things later on that age, like fine wine, and implement it. So what did we learn here today? Yeah. The old food pyramid is not viable, and there was a reason why it was taken out of health classes. This new one, though, will reap benefits and a high death toll. Alright, see you next month.